Morning! I'm in my pod. It's about 8 o'clock in the morning on Wednesday. So I'm just going to take you briefly through what happened on Tuesday the 11th of January at ISPA's Arts Congress. So I ran down the street after seeing this amazing busking trio, or does it quintet, and seeing a guy on a unicycle, just generally going around the amazing city of New York, and because of all these amazing things I kept seeing, I was a bit late. And then I bumped into Akram Khan in the lobby, which made me even more late. And then I got to a board meeting that looks like this.
Thank you very much.
Then we went down to the Time Centre to actually start the conference, and David Bale gave an opening speech, which was really, really inspirational, and here it is.
Thank you, Susan. Good afternoon. Inspirational. That's the only word that comes to mind when I look out at this group of people. Looking back at a year that's been marked by a continuing financial crisis, major government cutbacks in many regions, natural disasters, and continued war, it's inspirational to look out and see 350 delegates from more than 40 countries. As you look around the room, you'll see people from Chile to Japan, Iceland to the United Arab Emirates. A true diverse crowd geographically, culturally, by discipline, and by age. I think what this speaks to as well is our intuitive need to come together, to share our challenges, to share our opportunities, and just hear how other people are working in other regions.
And then after that, David Bale introduced Akram Khan, who said some really cool things.
I must confess, it's a real surprise for me to be here in New York. As many of you know, with the visa issue that I've had and a collaboration with the Homeland Security. So I didn't really prepare my speech. I didn't expect to be here. Looking back over the last 30 years, and particularly emphasizing the last 10 years, I've had the privilege of collaborating with some of the most incredible artists of my time. But I feel at this moment it is more important for me to elaborate and speak about the very notion of collaboration, which has played an integral part of my journey as an artist. Here, at this junction, I speak for myself and on behalf of my producer, whom together I feel we hold a principle that embraces the notion of we and not I. To us, we, in a collaborative sense, means a sort of neutral place where no one person leads, where no map is preconceived in order to take a journey together. Farouk and I embrace the belief that in order for us to grow, to learn, to discover, we had to break limits. We had to break fixed patterns, to break set rituals that were given or passed down. And so we quickly realized that to cross any boundaries was another means or excuse for learning and discovering. For us, being a bit unsure, a bit unfamiliar, unsettled, slightly vulnerable, in the unknown, seemed and still seems to be the right condition for us to be creative. In reflection, what I learned from collaborating with many of the artists I've mentioned earlier was simply that the ideal conditions for any living creature always includes a sense of collaboration and a sense of struggle. For instance, in a forest, trees compete in order to get more sunlight, to grow bigger, and so you end up with tall trees, short trees, and every other kind of tree. And this amazing ability to survive together is what makes them so versatile and alive. And after 3,800 million years of Earth history, I'm sure we can agree that life is made up of an infinite number of these intertwining routes or pathways that points towards one theory. The theory being that, in the end, we all feed off each other. We all bounce energy and creativity off each other. What motivates me to collaborate? Human stories being shared with each other, human interaction, human ability to push each other, to imagine beyond what we think we can imagine. What motivates me? The sense that in order to communicate with each other, to embrace and challenge each other, we have to constantly be in the present.
The key things that he said that I really enjoyed were, his whole speech was about the nature of collaboration, which is the theme of Arts Congress this year. He also talked about the idea that because he was trained in Indian classical dance, primarily, and then he went into contemporary dance later on, that his work, it really is a mix of science and spirituality, and how he doesn't set these two things apart. and he sees the contemporary dance that he does. His Western training is the science lab, and he sees his classical Indian training as the spiritual, and that his body is the bridge or the vehicle between these two worlds. And I thought that was really beautiful. He also talked about the fact that because of these two different types of training, that he wasn't really in control. He'd inputted this information and this training into his body, and that hadn't created a fusion, it created a confusion. So it meant that he wasn't doing classical Indian dance exactly right, and he wasn't doing contemporary dance exactly right. And, well, from my perspective, that's probably what created the alchemy to make him such a genius choreographer. That I thought was quite interesting to hear that from him. It was, there was a discussion and interview with him, and there was a quote that was given right at the end. It was a Rumi quote, because Akram takes a lot of inspiration from Rumi, and it's written here. It said, let the beauty of what you love be what you do. So that was a really, really beautiful way to end that section with Akram.